By the way, just a little public service announcement. Many of you have asked, how did I get tagged in your video? It was like perfect for me. It was exactly what I needed to hear that day, or I've just been thinking about that. Well, I don't know if it's a gift of prophecy or anything like that. I'm not Nostradamus or anything of that nature, but here's my selection process. I have about 5,000 friends on my personal profile. And so when I do the video in the morning, there are 5 or 10 that I have a intentional verbal agreement with whom they appreciate me sharing, not only so they see the video, but so that their circle of friends see the Leading Leaders podcast video. The rest of you, it's literally, I grab my phone and I scroll and I let it run as fast as it will, because 5,000 takes a minute to go through. And when it starts to slow down, I just tap the screen and then I do it again. And I tap the screen and I do it again. And I tap the screen. And usually it's 5 or 6 people, as randomly as you possibly could, like a bingo ball or a power ball. That's about how randomly you've been tagged in this video. Congratulations. You won the luck of the draw or got struck by lightning, however you want to see it. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. The video I saw yesterday, and I shared it on my timeline, so if you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. It takes about 4.5 seconds, because I think that's about how long the thinking process went into the making of the video. It shows a bunch of guys on the roof of a house, and there's a team that are pulling off shingles, and they're taking off the facing, etc., as if to say we're going to completely relay the surface of this house. And in the process, 3 guys standing around the chimney. One is taking bricks off and tossing them down to a guy who's apparently catching them, I would guess, to put in a wheelbarrow or something. And another guy steps up behind the chimney and gives it a kick. Now, I'm sure the brief flash of thought through his head was it'll just tumble off or become a pile of bricks and we'll just sweep them off the edge of the house and we'll be all done with this nonsense. But instead, the weight of the bricks tumbles once and then crashes through the deck of the roof. Now, if the job they had was just to replace the shingles, they've just added several hundred, maybe thousands of dollars worth of damage, because they may have taken out some actual structural beams as well as the decking of the roof. So they've got a lot more work to fix now than the problem they had to start with. I bring all that up because I noticed that there were no comments on yesterday's video. The challenge to you was simply to think about the people that you respect, make a quick list of why you respect them, maybe 3 to 5 ideas about the people that you respect the most. What are the traits, the characteristics, the qualities, the actions, the behaviors, the attitudes that they possess? And then kind of look across half a dozen people or so and say, what are the common denominators? How do I find these people to be alike? And I find that many people consider thinking to be hard work. Yeah, I can't remember exactly who said it, but maybe it was Einstein who said thinking is very hard work. That's why so few people do it. Kind of like the roofers on the house. They didn't really take the time to think. They acted first. And then they thought it through, and the result was more work to do than they had to do in the first place. Not bad for job security, not good for profitability. But if you didn't take the time to think through the people that you respect and ask yourself, why do I respect them? And then what do I find common among all the people that I respect? Then let me just do a little bit of thinking for you. I'm going to give you 3 traits that I think are very important. I share these in my own experiences along with many other great authors, to include my mentor, John Maxwell. He's said some variation of this in multiple books. I've experienced it as early as my teenage years and on through the military and in management roles and corporate roles, not as a manager, throughout the course of my life. So here's the 3 quick traits that you can look at to say, if someone has these 3 traits, there's a pretty good chance they have a high level of respect, not only for myself, but from others. And these are traits that I can model, that you should model. Number 1, how do you treat the people who can do nothing for you? You know, the little people, the other people, the ones that everyone else forgets, walks by. They don't have the Bentley. And of course, we've seen it a million times in the movies, right? The guy with the big fancy car walks by and snubs the guy standing there as the valet who's actually there to escort him or to be hired by him or maybe even to hire him. The attitude that some people have when they begin to have wealth or success or power really becomes disrespectful, and as a result shouldn't be respected either. Number 2 would be, are they respected equally by the people closest to them as they are by the people who just follow their brand or their reputation? An example in my own life was a time that I was working with a mentor and we were working through some very specific things. And this has been, 10 or 12 years ago. And as he and I were, just following up on various things, we ran into each other at a coffee shop. My wife was with me. And there were a couple of bullet points that would directly impact our relationship. And he asked me, so how are you doing on this? And right there in front of God and everybody, very directly, very specifically asked that question and then turned his face to my wife and said, you tell me how he's doing on that. What was his point? His point was it's really easy to hide from the masses what's going on in your world. It's really easy to convince the world based on your brand and your reputation and the work that you do to protect the outside impressions who you are. It's really hard to hide that from people you deal with every day. Your family, your kids, your employees, your employers. It's really hard to lie to them about the true nature and character of who you are. So number 1, how do they treat the little people, the people that can do nothing for them? Number 2, how are they respected or not respected by the people closest to them, friends, family, and regular colleagues? And then number 3, man, I've forgotten what the number 3 was. It's in my notes. You're just going to have to look it up. You'll have to go back and actually read the text. Why? Because I'm not doing all the thinking for you. But those 3 traits are really important. You should know all 3 of them. So I'm going to make you look it up. And then I'm going to make you write it in the comments that you actually took the time to look it up. But of course, you wouldn't know that if you didn't bother to watch the video either. So let's just see how many people actually take the time to think rather than rolling the chimney down the roof. How many actually watch the entire video and realize you'll only get the 3rd one by reading the text? And how many read the text but didn't watch the video, so they didn't get the description of the first 2 either? Let's see how many people are playing along, or maybe I'm just talking to myself. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. Leadership team. If attitude is going to have a deep impact on your business and bottom line, make it a positive attitude with a positive impact. Visit jlorennorris.com/attitude hack.